I moved more than 20 times in my first 25 years of existence. I lived in Cuba, where I was born, lived in Puerto Rico, lived in Miami, which is like the second Cuba. I lived in Texas, lived in California, lived in Maryland, lived in Virginia. I remember my friends asking me, "Where are you from?" And not being able to answer that question, because I wasn't from Cuba. I was born there, but I never lived there. I wasn't from Spain. I only lived there 3 months. I wasn't from the United States. I'm Spanish. I'm not really an American. I'm not really a Hispanic. So what I decided to do to try to fit in, because I had different friends every other year, is to become the class clown. And I made bad choices, and I made bad friends. And it affected my life, because I thought that home was with my friends, with my homies, with the people that I hung out with. So the first years of my life, I had an identity crisis. I did not know. I was looking for something to belong to. And I did not know that person was Jesus. The moment my life changed was nothing special. I mean, it was special because it happened, but I didn't see a light coming down from heaven and a heavenly voice with a deep voice saying, "Roger, you must repent." I didn't have a dream in the middle of the night. I wasn't awakened by a heavenly being. An angel didn't come next to my bed. I did not have an experience like Paul. I just had an assurance like Jeremiah from the moment I was born that God made me to minister to others. Even though sometimes I made wrong choices, I was always a leader. So there came a moment in my life when I was in college, then I turned my life over to God. And I told Jesus, I know you from since I was born. I know I was raised in a pastoral family. I know I've gone to church all my life, but you are not really my Lord. So I'm going to turn my life over to you. I'm going to decide, even though I may not feel like it at times, I'm going to decide to turn my life over to you. The moment I did that, I haven't looked back since. Because God, when you turn over your life, He can change it. I'm not going to lie to you and say that my identity crisis went away in one night. The moment I turned over my life to Jesus, things began to change. They changed slowly, but they began to change. And maybe I'm talking to somebody who's going through an identity crisis. You don't feel a part of this culture because you're Hispanic, but you don't really feel Hispanic because you live in North America. So your parents have a different idea of you on how you should live your life, and the music you should listen to, and the type of clothes that you should wear. So you feel like you're caught in between two cultures. You don't really have a sense of belonging. But let me tell you something. One day, pretty soon, Jesus is going to come back. And He's going to take us, you and me, and millions of other people, to heaven. And you know the words that are going to come out of His mouth, the first things that He's going to say when you and I get there, He's going to tell us, "Welcome home." That sense of I don't belong was put by God in you, so you don't get too comfortable here on this earth. You don't belong to a Mara, you don't belong to a gang, you don't belong to some friends, you don't belong to a culture. You belong to Jesus. He put a hole in your heart that only He can fill. So I invite you today to change that identity crisis for the identity assurance that you can have only in Jesus. Only He can change your life.